Okay, so I use these 7-segment displays a lot in a lot of my projects, but I do a lot of text, and you can't do things like M and W and X, and it's just kind of annoying. I know they sell like 12-segment displays and 14-segment displays online that are pre-made, but I really like the periods on them as well as these colons for like time and stuff, and I just could not find one that had all of that. Plus, sometimes I want more digits than 4. And so I decided to make my own. In real life, this looks very different than what we're going to see in the video, but I'm going to do my best. But in the video, you're going to see a lot of flickering when I move. It's just the way that the frame rate captures it. If we hold still, also in real life, these ones here, they're very, very bright. They're very crisp, they're very clean. You can see a pretty big difference between the lit and the unlit segment. This one is, I don't know if we can get like roll in here. Yeah, the video just kind of blows it out, but this one is much dimmer, and you can definitely see like the LED, like a spot where the LED is. And same with this one. This one you can definitely see the LED spot. Let's turn off the light, maybe that'll help. Yeah, that doesn't make much of a difference. This one you can see kind of the bleed, the light bleed into the resin, which that does come in the video. But anyways, they do look different in real life. You don't see the flickering because of persistence of vision, and the way that the camera captures with the frame rate. Here's the red. This one is by far the brightest. It's even brighter than this one. In real life, the colors are almost identical. In the camera, this comes out, I don't know, more white, and this comes out a little bit more yellow. This one comes out a little bit more red than this one, which is weird because these are the same LEDs, but this one does have the reflective stuff, which I go on later. This one just had like painted inside. This has just gloss white painted inside, so maybe that makes a difference. But in real life, these colors look, the color looks almost the same. This one is the brightest. This one has no light bleed at all whatsoever, which is nice. This does have a tiny little light bleed, but and so this is kind of where I'm at. This one is an original, like just 7-segment. Sometimes the digits don't, or the segments don't display because I'm actually running this 12-segment display code on the 7, and so just they're kind of, it doesn't have all of these, and so they get a little mixed up. But this is kind of my process. I mean, I created a board, a little board, right, with a bunch of LEDs on it, made like 3D printed these little covers to go on them. This here is kind of like my iterations, this being the very first. There were a few iterations in between, but then these guys, and then this was my last, and this one kind of like took a step backwards. This one here is the same as these, and this one here is the same as this, so this definitely took a step backwards. But yeah, just I made this little board, you know, soldered all the LEDs onto it. Here's the control board for like this back piece, I guess. So I had to make my own boards because the ones that you can like get whatever, I guess since I made this a 12-segment, I need to expose more of the pins on the chip. So you could see here I've got like this is one that I bought online. It only has, what is that, 6-7 pins exposed, 14 pins exposed total. And I mean, there's a lot more pins here to address all of the digits. So I had to expose more pins. So I had to make my own board with basically just more of those exposed out. I think what I've got, how many do I got added? I got, yep, I don't know, a bunch. 4 more on top and 3 on bottom. So yeah, I mean, this is basically identical to this, just with more pins exposed. right now I've got a bunch of these on risers just so I could pop these things out easily. This one's fully soldered down, but this one I'm probably just gonna trash. So I don't know, I started with like resin. I have my wife has a resin printer, so she's been printing these for me. We don't have an FDM printer. I did ask a few people to print some in FDM printers, and I don't know, this one's a bit older. I don't know if that one can get the quality that I want. This one's got pretty good quality, but it missed some stuff, but that maybe with the settings it could probably get there. I don't have an FDM, so I'm not going to go that route. Just kind of curious, asked a few people, see if they could do them. I'm sure the FDM with the right one, the right settings, can do it. And it might, in the end, be better than resin if it comes out clean, because the FDM, the light doesn't bleed in between the segments. The resin, it definitely bleeds, and so I've been kind of fighting that. This was one of the first ones I did in black. The black bleeds, but it bled much less than, like, I don't know, I think we have white here. White, this one bled like no tomorrow, and this light gray bleeds quite a bit. This dark gray, I mean, they all bleed, even the dark gray and the black, they all bleed, but these ones bled the least. And I did not put anything on the inside to kind of help like diffuse the light, so I don't know if you could see it, but it's, I don't know, it's kind of darker compared to the rest. You can definitely see the bright spot there. So you can definitely see like the bright spots in the middle, and you can see like the light bleed in there. You know, I've been trying a bunch of things, read online, use white because, you know, it diffuses, or it bounces the light around and stuff. I tried with white resin, and it definitely did bounce the light around a bit. I painted the top black. However, this just bled so much it wasn't going to work. So I went back to darker colors and started painting the insides with like spray paint. And this is a very, what do you call it, like shiny spray paint. This worked really well actually, but I don't know, it's such a waste with spray paint. It was quick, which was nice, but it just wasted so much spray paint. So I started painting the insides, and I don't know if you could see that in there, but this has, I don't know, this one has like a pretty gloss white painted inside, and that is what these ones are, and this one, and those worked really well. I was pretty happy with them. I filled the insides with some resin with a little bit of like alumina hydrate to kind of disperse the light a little bit more, and it worked really well. I was pretty happy with it. Overall, the one thing I wasn't still kind of not happy with is that like when the segments are off, like this unlit spot, I guess, you could still see quite a bit of difference between this darker gray and the unlit segments. And my wife suggested trying this. So here we go. I don't know, this is nail polish, but trying like a chrome because it's super reflective. And so that's what we did here. This has like a chrome in it. This has a chrome in it. And that's this one here. And that actually worked really well. It made it very reflective. The light bleed between the like unlit segments and lit segments was minimal. It seemed very promising, and so I was actually able to go with the lighter resin, like this, hoping that the difference between the unlit and the lit segments would be like less noticeable. These guys just have like little tape diffusers on them. It's just, I don't know, like 3 or 4 layers of tape. I really would like a diffuser, but I had trouble finding something that worked well, so I'm filling it with resin. But this one here does not have the reflective thing inside, and you could see it's quite a bit darker. You can definitely see the inside spot thing. That one's much brighter and much reflective. It seemed very promising, and so I decided to go that route. And so that's what this one here is and this one here is. The issues that I had with these were that when I filled them with resin, the nail polish, I use nail polish, it just kind of like peeled off, and I had trouble getting the resin in there. This one I didn't suck the air bubbles out of, which was a big mistake. I probably should have, but regardless, it's still, you can still kind of see it's like not as bright as this guy. It's a little spotty still. Same with this. It's not as bright, it's a little spotty compared to that one. And also, the light resin is still bleeding a bit. You could still kind of see it down at like these edges and in between the segments. So I'm going to go back to this and finish all of these with this. But another one I've been working on is I have this clock, this old clock here that I made a previous video of, and it's like a possessed clock. You can, I don't know, make it do all random things from an app on your phone, and you can make it say stuff. So you can like display text on it and it'll say it. But the problem with this is it's a 7-segment, and with displaying text I can't do a lot of things like M and W and X. M and W kind of cheated, so here's like M between two different ones. X doesn't show up at all, and then W, but it's pretty hard to read, and so I wanted to rebuild this guy and make it a 12-segment display. And so this one actually came with like this diffuser thing, which is great. I just don't know where to get these things, but this diffuser works really well. But this board, initially, this clock actually was, I guess we can put this back on. Just to make it a little easier to see, it's only intended to display 12 and then any number over here. And so it only had LEDs in these 2 segments. It did not have LEDs in these other, what is that, 7? Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know how to do math. Didn't have LEDs in these other 5 segments. However, the board was built for, what is it, like army time? Like all the way up to like 24 hours. And so it had spots to put LEDs in these areas, but it did not have one here because this segment here is never used. It, because you're like 1 and 2 never use that. So I had to kind of attach, I don't know, cut some traces and attach some traces, put an LED there to make that work, and it does work. But yeah, I want to go into a 12-segment display. So I had these boards printed up. This I also tried with like different resins. The white seriously did not work, but here's the gray with the white painted inside. Hopefully you can see that. This worked pretty well. And so I still have to solder this guy in there and change the code or update the code. But if we come take a look at this, got a couple like just rogue wires here that we can attach, but this works pretty well. Can do all of the digits if I go fast enough. Maybe you could see some like an X or something. But yeah, so this I just have to, oops, get on there, change the code on the machine and solder in the new piece. But that's kind of where I'm at. I'm pretty happy with these guys here and this one, so I'm gonna finish all I've got a bunch of other colors. I've got a few other colors. I think this one's like a fuchsia. Fuchsia's kind of hard to read. The blue's kind of hard to read. I probably won't do those ones again. I think this is an orange. That one's pretty easy to read. It's like a yellow orange. I can't quite tell yet how easy these will be to read because I don't have them like done this way. But in the end we'll see, and I'll probably make a few more of the ones that I like. The white is pretty good. I have a green somewhere too, but that one's actually being used in this kind of shitty state right now, but it's being used somewhere. But yeah, it's kind of my process on building these 12-segment displays. They can show every number, or every letter, every number, a few other things, which maybe you've seen somewhere in here before, but V, W, X. Yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching.